Hello all, and welcome to the second episode of the Across the Spider-Verse theory series. In the last episode, we looked a lot at Miguel, and we also heard a lot from you. We tried to figure out if Miguel did have a spider sense based on specifically the movie itself, and some of you gave us a very good example. In the beginning of the movie, Gwen tells Miguel to knock himself out. Miguel is confused by this statement, but then gets attacked by the Renaissance vulture. This shows Miguel's lack of a spider sense based on the movie alone. This information first came from the lovely Honest Mistake 8167, so thank you so much for this catch. Many people also kept informing me that in the comics, Spider-Man 2099 doesn't have a spider sense. While writing that first video, I did look quite a bit into the Spider-Man 2099 comics, but felt that the movie deviated so much in story and design that using information solely based on the comics with no supporting evidence from the movie would not be the smartest choice. I did, however, use Miguel's origin from the comics simply because we see the aftermath of this origin in the movie itself. In the comics, Miguel gained fangs from his very unique Spider-Man origin, and we see these fangs in the movie. I didn't make it known why I was using the origin from the comics but nothing else, so that's my bad. Now time for part 2. In this episode, we will focus a lot on Hobie Brown, Miles Morales, and a concept called the Web of Life and Destiny, while also finishing our discussion of Miguel. In the last episode, we figured out that these quote-unquote canon events are not really what they seem. Let's continue this conversation with the big question of this movie. Is Miles truly an anomaly? There are two sub-questions we need to ask first to be able to answer this question. When Miles is walking through the Spider Army headquarters, there doesn't appear to be a single Miles Morales Spider-Man in the entirety of Miguel's interdimensional posse. This brings us to our first question. Is there no version of Miles that is ever meant to be Spider-Man? When Miguel says to go after Spider-Man, hilarious confusion ensues, but when he specifies and says to go after Miles, everyone knows who to go after. This suggests that there is probably only one Miles in the entirety of the headquarters. However, this does not prove that any Miles Morales is an anomaly. Based on this shot here, which was shown in Spot's big "I made you" speech, we can see that the Earth-42 spider that bit our Miles Morales was meant to bite the Earth-42 Miles Morales. This spider was never meant to bite a Peter Parker or a Gwen Stacy or anybody else. This spider was supposed to bite a Miles Morales. This shot proves that there is supposed to be at least one Miles Morales Spider-Man in this multiverse. If we want to take this a step further, we even know of an actual Miles Morales Spider-Man besides our quote-unquote anomaly. When Miles is being shown villain anomalies in the headquarters, we can see a few video game guys. In between both of these, we see Insomniac Spider-Man of Earth 1048. The Insomniac Spider-Man is the Spider-Man from the Sony games. Insomniac is the name of the company who developed these games. Another helpful hint that this is the video game Spider-Man is this clip here. Earth 1048 Spider-Man responds to Lila's mention of a video game guy. If Earth 1048 Spider-Man is real, that means there is absolutely another Miles Morales. In these Sony games, there is Miles Morales. Not just that, but the Sony Miles Morales even has his own game and is involved in the new Spider-Man 2 game as a playable character. This proves that Miles Morales Spider-Men are a part of this universe and not as anomalies. If there is supposed to be at least one Miles Morales Spider-Man in the multiverse, does that mean that our Miles Morales from Earth 1610 is truly the anomaly that Miguel is so fixated on? We know that the spider from Earth 42 was going to bite Miles from Earth 42, as seen in this image, but this doesn't directly mean that Miles from Earth 1610 is an anomaly. According to Miguel, an anomaly would be caused if a canon event is broken, or if there is a disturbance in that universe. When we see Earth 42 at the end of the movie, the entire universe is still intact. The spider bite / spider transformation is arguably the most important canon event as it creates the spider person. It's even shown in the spiderverse web as a canon event. If a spider person was never created, it would cause much more of a disturbance than saving a police captain ever would. However, when we go to that universe, it's still intact. Everything might be on fire, but the people still exist. In Miguel's alternate universe, we saw everybody slowly disappear, but on Earth 42, we still see everyone. That glitch never happened here. If Miguel replacing his dead self created an anomaly big enough to destroy that universe, the same thing should happen here, but it doesn't. Based on this information that we gathered in the last Spider-Verse video, Miles cannot be an anomaly. We mentioned that an anomaly would be a broken canon event or a large disturbance in the universe. In the last episode, we mentioned how canon events are not what Miguel says they are. So if there are no canon events, there can be no anomalies. An anomaly is something that deviates from what is standard, normal, or expected, but if these quote-unquote canon events are not standard, normal, or expected, there can't be any anomalies. Miles Morales of Earth 1610 is not an anomaly, but this doesn't make sense. We saw the web of canon events. We saw that they exist. How could they not exist if we see them exist? They may not have the same effect that Miguel said they do in his presentation, but they have to at least exist, right? Well, to that I say, something only exists if you make it exist. Let's turn to something called the Web of Life and Destiny. To look at this web, we will need to turn to the comics, but considering Miguel directly mentions the Web of Life and Destiny in his presentation, I feel that it is safe to use these comics to support this theory. To quickly sum up this concept, the Web of Life and Destiny acts as a model of the entire universe and enables travel between realities. It was created on Earth 001 by gods. If the Web of Life and Destiny is destroyed, the spider people would risk losing their spider senses forever. However, one thing that isn't in the comics is canon events. Canon events were introduced in Across the Spider-Verse in a numbered order using the Amazing Spider-Man comics to create this order. The Web of Life and Destiny in the movies appears to follow the same rules as the comics, except for canon events. Just this idea right here helps to support the theory that canon events don't exist. If Miles is not an anomaly and canon events don't exist, then Miles is not a threat to the Great Web. With all this information that we've just collected, there's one final question to ask in the vein of canon events. Does Miguel know that canon events don't really exist? This question is hard to answer with our current information. There are possible explanations for both options. If Miguel doesn't know that canon events don't truly exist, then he's working on his best guess from his experiences. He watched a universe crumble and assumes it's because he replaced his dead self and broke an action that was supposed to happen. He wouldn't be purposefully lying about canon events. He's just trying to protect the universe as best he can with only half the information. However, if Miguel or someone else does know that canon events don't truly exist, it would give them much more sinister undertones. What would they be planning? Do they want to destroy the universe? To keep spider people in check, following their every order? Only time can tell. You hear that bell? You know what time it is. It's time for a special speculation session! Session. Welcome to the special speculation session, where we end off a video with a bonus theory that doesn't have enough information to be a real theory, or will probably not be discussed in the media, but would be fun for us to talk about anyway. In this special session, we will talk about Hobie Brown. Hobie seems to know a lot of things before they happen. While this could just be Hobie's insanely substantial perception, there could be more happening here. For one, Hobie knew how to help Miles with his power even before he saw how it worked. Miles was trying his electric fingers on Spot's dome for only a few seconds, with Hobie most likely seeing even less than that, yet he was able to give Miles the information on how to use it to his full effect, which would help him break out of Miguel's cage. Once Miles broke free, Hobie smirked as if this was all part of his perfectly executed plan. Hobie never stopped Miles from breaking Pov's canon event, even though he would have also gotten the same notification as Gwen that a canon event was about to take place. If Hobie knew how quote-unquote important these canon events were, he would have done something about it, but he somehow knew that these canon events were utter BS. The final big event with Hobie is right after Miles breaks out of Miguel's cage. Once he does, Hobie immediately quits the Spider Army, meaning he would never have seen Miguel targeting Spider-Gwen and sending her back home, yet Hobie still knew to give a custom-made dimensional travel watch to Gwen's dad. So, what's our special theory? Well, how would Hobie know what to do? Well, let's look at a few numbers. When Hobie is being introduced, we can see a mugshot dated August 12th, 1978, and we know Earth 928 is in the year 2099. Not only this, but we've seen other people travel through time periods as well. Spider Noir is from 1933, and Gwen Stacy showed up a week earlier than everyone else in Into the Spider-Verse after being pulled through the Super Collider. If you can travel through space, you can travel through time. Every single spider person is a time traveler if they are involved in the Spider Army. Do I think Hobie is from the future? Not in the normal sense of the word. He doesn't know everything. He just knows a few key ideas. If anything, I would assume that he has definitely seen a future, whether accidentally or intentionally, whether our timeline or a different one, but somehow Hobie has seen the outcome of letting Miguel stay in power and continue suppressing spider people's free will. I mean, Hobie is able to make his own interdimensional travel watches, so he can already travel through time. It'll just take a few more clicks of a button. Well, that wraps up our time in the super speculation session, and that wraps up this video as well. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to ring that notification bell to stay up to date for future uploads. Let me know what you think of this video down in the comments below. Let me know if you have any evidence that could either support this theory or even disprove it. This is still just a theory, so it could always be disproven later down the line when we receive more information. If you want to talk to my team and I directly, check out our Discord or join our subreddit. Check out RemGames live on Twitch, as I stream there every now and then and on special occasions, so you'll want to be there for those. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.